Hi, I'm Aaron Bancroft. I'm with Pro Staff Builders. I'm actually a service technician for them. I'm going to be showing you today how to install a toilet. Actually take out the old toilet, put in the new one. You're going to get a big box like this with instruction manual in there that has all the necessary tools and equipment you're going to need, and also what's available in the box. So double check the instruction manual to make sure that you have everything in the box before you begin. Alright, before we do the demo of this old toilet and take it out, there's several steps that you got to make sure you take care of before you do start. Otherwise you'll get water everywhere, and it is a messy process. So we're going to start with step number one, turning off the water, which is the supply line back here. Turn it to the left, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, which means if you're going to the left, that leaves it wide open. If you go to the right, it closes the valve, shuts off the water. At that point you have no more supply going to the toilet. Then you want to drain the toilet. This involves just flushing it, and flushing it, and flushing it. You're not going to get all the water out. You want to get as much out as you can. Okay. As you can see, there's still water left in the tank as well, so that's pretty normal. You want to try to take the whole toilet out at one time. That way the water does not get everywhere, and you can try to do this so it's not so messy. So first step is we're going to undo all the lines, the supply line. I'm going to undo these bolts at the bottom so we can detach this toilet. And usually at the bottom, as we have here, is a bead of caulk that kind of seals the toilet. We need to cut out this caulk and make it easier for us to get this toilet out. Now we're going to undo the supply line to the tank of the old toilet. Normally you're going to use a crescent wrench to undo this bolt assembly here, but in this case we can do it by hand. Now I like to have a bucket handy and a towel because there's going to be water coming out of this tank, and so as you unloosen it, and again you want a righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but in this case it's upside down, so you want to reverse it. So to undo it, you want to go to the right. Now it's time to detach the toilet from the floor by undoing these bolts. First take it off the cap. Use your crescent wrench. Lefty-loosey on the bolt, and it shouldn't take too much effort to loosen that bolt up. After you've taken the bolt off with both sides of the floor, is now ready to take out the caulk. Now you can use a knife, depending on the floor you have. This is linoleum. I gotta be careful and not scratch up the floor. So really all I need to do right now is just make separation between the caulk and the actual toilet itself. This can be a little hard. Now that we've removed the toilet from the floor, the old toilet has been tossed out of here. This is the best time for you to come through. If you're going to replace the supply line, this is the best time to do it. That way there's not a toilet in your way. This involves shutting off the water to the main, to the house, because once you take this off, the water will be free flowing because there will be no more valve to hold the water back. So you can either do that job now, or you can wait till after the new toilet's installed and come back and do it at a later date. For right now, we're going to install the toilet and we'll deal with this later. Now that we're ready to install the new toilet, go ahead and flip it upside down. This is where your floor flange is going to sit with your new wax ring. The stuff is a little sticky. It is wax. It is moldable. So kind of be careful with it. A little messy. But what's not in construction, huh? Alright. Once you got the plastic off, this bottom part, the plastic, is what's going to sit inside the flange on the floor. This is what's the toilet's going to sit on top of. So since we got the toilet upside down, we're going to put the wax ring on, just like this. And you want to apply just a little bit of pressure for now, just to hold it in place. And once we put this toilet down, the way the toilet's going to push around this wax ring and create a seal. Now that we have the toilet where we want it, it's time to secure it with the nut and bolt assembly. These newer toilets come with these caps like I was showing you earlier, which allows you to tighten to a certain point, and then at some point you can't tighten anymore. And that's because if you over tighten these, you can run the risk of having the porcelain on the toilet actually crack or break. Alright, now that we have the base of the toilet installed and secured, not going anywhere, got the bolts secured, it's now put on the tank. Now as I spoke before, the inside should all be put together and ready to go. So you shouldn't have to mess with anything in here, at least for now. Step is to put on this seal, which goes right here, snugs just nice and easy over this hole. Might have to stretch it out a little bit. Just like that. And these are the two bolts assemblies that come with this. This is a rubber gasket right here, which you want on the inside where the water is, on the inside of the tank. So the bolts will actually come out the bottom of these two holes just like that. And we'll secure them to the back of the base of the toilet. Should fit snug just right there. You align the holes with the base of the toilet with the bottom of the tank. And like I said before, when you're installing these, just make sure that you have that rubber gasket on the inside of the tank. And secure it with your hands on the other side. Normally, you're able to tighten the tank to the actual toilet with your hands from down below. In this case, you're actually going to need a screwdriver, Phillips head, if you want to look down in here. This is where we're going to be putting the screwdriver to hold in place while I tighten with the other hand. Now that you have the tank installed to the toilet, you're ready to reattach the supply line to the tank. This is really easy and done with your hands. Now that you have tightened that up, ready to turn the water back on by turning it to the left. And the tank should fill up. Now that you've filled up the tank, go ahead and flush it to make sure water fills up the bowl. And the water could be discolored because of a lot of the gaskets you're using and everything are brand new, so there's going to be a lot of residue coming off those, and that's why it turns a different color. Now that I've tested the toilet to make sure it works, we're going to go ahead and put the top back on the tank, and we got a working toilet. Now that we know our toilet is running properly, it is time to install maybe the most important part of the whole system, which is the toilet seat. This is easy. This comes off. It has a little clip here that you basically undo the cap, leaves two holes. Align these holes with the existing holes in the toilet. Use the nut and bolt assembly that was provided. Stick them in there just like this. And on the back side, just tighten it up. The next step and final step after installing the toilet seat, we've got the toilet working, is now to make it look presentable. And one of the steps of doing that is putting on these caps on top of the bolts that we attach this to the floor with. The next step after that, of course, we put a bead of caulk around the bottom, finish it off. Alright, we've installed a new toilet, we've attached our supply line, we got all the screws and bolts down tight. Looks like it's ready to be used. One last step, just for looks, make sure you clean around the bottom of the base of the toilet before you apply caulk. And once that's done, go ahead and apply your caulk. Alright, we've installed our new toilet here. It is now ready to be used right now. So just to run over what we have done, we had put in the base of the toilet, put in the tank, attached the water supply to the tank, installed our toilet seat, cut down our bolts at the bottom so our caps can fit over them, and then finally I put a bead of caulk around the base just for looks, and it actually helps secure a little bit maybe. So that's our final on. So I'm going to flush it for you guys, just so you see and hear the final product. Thank you for attending this instructional video on how to install toilets. Please look for our future home improvement videos on prostaffbuilders.com.